All right, I'm going to work through this. I'm not sure what form I'm going to put this in for a grade. I might do it back in Edpuzzle. I might do it somewhere else. I'm not sure. But I'm going to work through the video anyway. If this gets too long, I may stop it and make it 2 videos. All right, so write all the transformations that occurred. So first of all, transformation formula. Y equals plus and minus a, whether it's square root or cube root, x minus h plus k. Reflects across the x. A, if it's less than 1, is a, if it's greater than 1, it's a stretch. If I multiply by 2, that makes it bigger. If A is between 0 and 1, regardless of the sign, if it's a half, multiply by a half makes it smaller or compress or shrink. H, the minus H.
Karen Typus, please report to Terry Moran. Please review your Chronos time card and report to Terry Moran. Thank you.
If H, the whole thing is negative, it moves left, right, up, down. So write all transformations that occurred. Let me zoom in a little bit. So you can see the flip. So flipped across, reflect across the x. You can see the moves right 3, up 1. Right 3, up 1. That's easy to see. This went over 1, up 1. This went over 1, down 1. So that's flipped. That's that negative. No stretch, though. 1 doesn't change anything. Well, that graph's not very pretty. You can't see very much from that. But that's okay. We can see it from the equation. So no flip, because it's not negative. Times 5, the vertical stretch. You can see this, it went left 1 and didn't go up or down. HK, opposite of this is H, that's K. Domain, easiest to see from here, X values starts at -2 and goes that way. So X is between, here, I'm going to do it this way. X is between -2 and infinity. Or, remember, if it has an infinity, we can just do this part and say X is, less than or equal to, it does touch it, greater than or equal to -2. If we're doing interval notation, which we're not, it'd be -2 to infinity. It does touch -2. It can never reach infinity. Range is the y values. So you can see it there. Y starts at -5 and goes up to infinity. It does touch the -5. It can never reach infinity. If we've got an infinity one, we can just write it like this. We normally write the variable first. If it was in interval notation, which we're not doing on this test. Domain and inequality notation. So x values, negative infinity to infinity. Whoops. Let me write it the way I always write it. X is between negative infinity and infinity. Range, same thing. Don't be fooled though. One of the answer choices will be there and there. It doesn't stop there. Even though it's not going up very fast or down very fast, it's still going up and down. So negative infinity to infinity. All right, so we don't have any A values, so that's good. This one, that's a square root function. So it's not cube root. So where does it start? Where's HK? 1, 2, 3, 3, 1. Well, unfortunately, it's not any of those. So what is it? Hope it's not wrong on the test. I'll go check it. Write in domain and inequality notation, graph on Desmos is needed. Okay. Y equals square root of x, and y equals function miscellaneous nth root. Oh, but that's not what we're doing anyway. Sorry, I just made an assumption. X squared. Okay, so the domain of the square root function is between 0 and infinity, or just x is greater than or equal to 0. The domain on the x squared is all real numbers. Negative infinity to infinity. Just answer that however you think is most significant. You can just look at it. What do you think is the most significant difference? This doesn't ask you to solve it. It just asks you what the first step is. Which would be just to square both sides. I'm going to go ahead and solve it. Remember, it's a square root function. We have to check it. We need to cube both sides. We do not need to check the cube root ones. Number 12, square both. I hope they're all this easy on the test. Square both sides. Finish solving for x. Then we're going to put this, it's a square root one, so we have to check it. So square root of -2 times -2.5 plus 5 equals 3. That's 10, because that's 5 and 5 is 10. Square root of 10 does not equal 3. Remember that this fraction is a root. Cube both sides. Finish it out. Oops. Yep, that didn't make sense. 3 cubed is not 9, it's 27. (29) divided by 3, or that is a simplified fraction. So that's 9.666666, or 9.7, approximately. Okay, make sure you know how to do each of those. If you don't, come to tutoring before the test. I'm not going to be available Friday morning, unfortunately, so it'd have to be Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon. Good luck.